Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to the program. I'm Jeff, otherwise known as the Economic Prepper. I wanted to touch base with you guys on, the price of Bitcoin and where things are going. I'm getting this question a lot, mostly because I did a really good job. Let's see if I get this right. I'll put a link up here to a video I did. Actually, it was on my birthday, I think it was, the 21st, where I talked about how Bitcoin's probably going to hit 100K or very close and then come back down. So since I did a pretty good job of predicting that within 1% accuracy, it was 99 and change, which makes sense if you look at the numbers, because, the psychology of it, the psychology does matter of it. And people are like, well, if it gets to 100, I don't want it to just get there and close and then come back down. So there were sell orders in 99,000 and change all over the place. So that's why it kind of stalled out. That's one of the reasons why. But I wanted to cover the topic of where is Bitcoin going to go, and I noticed something on the chart as I'm looking at Bitcoin, and I wanted to zoom out and share this with you, just to share what I'm doing. And I'm going to do it pretty much in real time because I want to see how the numbers play out. And if you like this kind of analysis and things of that nature, just let me know. Give me, if you again like this kind of content, like, share, subscribe, give me a thumbs up. Whatever platform you're watching this on, please share it to others. It helps me grow. But if you like this kind of content, please like and subscribe, all that good stuff. But I'm going to just jump right into it. So let me share my screen. Let me jump to this. I think there we go. Trying out a new video thing. By the way, I noticed that a lot of the streaming services really jumped up their prices. So if there's a good one out there that I don't know about, please leave in the comments or let me know. But let me jump over to the screen here so I can start playing with this chart. Now, this chart is the Bitfinex, and making sure that my cursor, yes it does, okay. So this chart is Bitfinex's version of Bitcoin. I chose Bitfinex because it goes way back. And it goes back to, the little dinosaur tells you where it is, and that's, let me get rid of this. That you're looking at, pre-2014. So I think this is a good history here. This is, May of 2013. But I looked at this chart, and I saw what I thought was a pattern. Now, my original pattern that I noticed here was a cup with handle, which is right here. And by measuring this, and I'm going to draw lines real quick here, that this is basically the top of the cup. Here's your bottom, roughly speaking, somewhere in here. Up, that line. Say horizontal line. This is Trading View. If you don't know, that's a really good source, but yeah, so this distance was about 40,000, then you had 40,000 this line, you get to about 100,000. So a cup with handle is a good pattern, and there's a lot of psychology behind it. The ones that I like, I understand the psychology of why the pattern, the way it looks and the way it typically plays out. So those are the ones I typically like. I will be doing more technical analysis probably on the new channel, not the new channel, but the new website, which is coming out really, really soon. Please hang with me, but it should be I think even next week we may make it live. So hang with me. I'll make that announcement shortly. But what I wanted, let me remove these lines. But so what I noticed when I looked at this chart, I noticed that, things like when you zoom out, things like, I'll just do this. When things get smoother and when you zoom out and you get to the much higher prices, all this noise in here really shrinks out. But I noticed that this pattern is a replication of about where we were here and also back in here. But I'm going to talk about this zone in here, which is 27, between the run up to 2017. This is where it hit the first time it hit roughly 20 grand. It was 19 and change, all the way up to this point. And we're just going to look at this and we're going to see if there's a similar pattern and then what that can tell us about where we're going to be heading, I think. So I'm going to zoom in here. I don't know why it's scrolling like that, but let me zoom in here. And I'm going to zoom in on this area in here, which is, we're looking at 2018 to 2021. And before this big shoot up to 2021. What can we discern from looking at this chart? So I'm going to zoom in here. And you can see that, okay, so we had kind of a cup with a cup, and then it ran up, and then it came back down, and then it shot up. So what this is, and to me, and this is like a truncated 5-wave Elliott wave pattern. What is that? it's probably beyond this episode, but it's basically a 5-wave or 5-line pattern that I can draw for you real quickly. Let's see, Elliott impulse wave, they call it here. So here it goes. It goes like this: 1, 0. Let's see, that's wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, wave 5. That's the typical pattern of an Elliott wave. And there's rules behind how you set that up. But what I see is, first off, I see a cup with handle here, and I'm just going to draw. Can I do a free form? Pardon me as I do this in free form here. But here, I'm just going to do, let's see, I'll do this. There's kind of a cup right in here, right in there. So from here to here, I can extend a little bit further, but you can see that there's a large cup, and then it kind of rolls down, and then it goes up from there. But this is, you could make the argument that this is, this is the actual cup right in here, right? And then we had a shot up, and then it got stuck again. And if you zoom in, I'm going to zoom in some more. But I just drew that. That's a good pattern of a cup. And the cup distance here, maybe I could raise it a little higher, like that, and then the depth of the cup is about how much it goes. So I see, I'm going to go back to that 5-wave pattern leading up to 2021. If I grab this pattern one more time, and I know you all want to know the answer, I get it, you all want to know the answer ahead of time, but this is the way I see it. Okay, coming out of the cup was wave 1, so let me move that. Okay, let's see, delete that. All right, let's try that again. So I'm going to do the 5 pattern, and I'm going to say that that's your wave 1. And then it comes down to wave 2, all the way up to wave 3, down to wave 4, down to wave 5. Okay. And then it comes down in an ABC pattern, and I can draw that real quick too, just to show you that this is kind of holding. And ABC goes, so you start A, B, C. Okay, kind of matches pretty perfectly in the 2027, not 2027, the 2020 time frame, from 2018 to 2022. So looking at that, right, and now the typical rules are that 1's always above 2, 2 comes down about halfway of 1, 2 to 3 is your biggest wave, that's the one everybody's looking for, and then when it comes back down, 3 down to 4, it's typically a fraction of the 2 to 3, but it never goes below the 1 point. So that 1 wave is good to identify. So if I come over here, and I just say again, no, remember this is a cup, and then it broke out to wave 1. So if this is the breakout from the cup to wave 1, so I'm going to do the 5-wave pattern, and I'm going to have to zoom out, like way out. So I'm going to draw a 5-wave pattern. I'm probably going to have to play with this a little bit, so bear with me. So I'm going to do a 5-wave pattern. So I'm going to start here. I think that's a reasonable start. I'll start at 25,000, and it goes up to wave 1, and I'm going to put it at 100 or 98, about there. Okay. Wave 2 comes down about 50%. Now I'm just going to draw all these so I can put them in. Now, how do you draw these correctly? I'm going to add one more tool here, which is the Fibonacci retracement tool. And I can never get it in the right direction, but there we go. Upside down. Okay. All right. So this pretty rainbow chart allows you to draw a Fibonacci retracement, either up or down. Fibonacci extension, Fibonacci retracement, and this is basically emotional feelings. So basically, when you get about 50% down, that's when people start bailing out, and then that's when things change. So I'm going to put the 1 here, and I'm going to put the 0 at the bottom of my line here, right there. And then you look for 50%. Now 50% is about where the 1 down to 2 will be. So I'm going to move this 2 to the 50% line, which is about there, and I'll put that about there. And that's about 60,000. Okay. So I don't think it's going to quite down that low. I would actually maybe make it higher, but I'm going to put it, maybe it comes down to 60. I would think that Again, I made another video, and might have commented this somewhere else, but look, historically speaking, there's no guarantee this is going to happen again. But if you go back the past 4 years and the four prior, basically since election week, the election week is the lowest price for Bitcoin until the next presidential election. So now you're looking at 60 to 75,000. So we're in that ballpark. I'm going to move this to be conservative. I'm going to leave it where it is. I'll leave it where it is. And then we can start to play games, and you can see that, it's not an exact science, but you get an idea. Okay, so we're at 60. So now I'm going to take this retracement tool again. Whoops, leave that one there. Now I'm going to come back to this thing. And instead of measuring wave 1, now I'm going to measure wave 2. So I can do this, put it at the bottom, give me a little bit more space. Let me scroll. Okay, so now we're coming over to here. And the way that works, the way that the upwards ones go, the wave 2 to wave 3 goes anywhere from 2.6 to 3.6. So based on how I draw in wave 1, we're looking at a possibility going up all the way to 200,000. Now, conservatively speaking, I could put it at the 2.6 line, but I'm going to try and get a maximum delta to show the maximum case here. So the maximum, don't need the ad, thank you. Don't want the ad, thank you. Okay, so now wave 3 to wave 4. This is, ideally it could go this high, but if this wave if wave 1 and wave 2 is drawn differently, this could be shorter, which means that this is shorter. Maybe I don't go to 3.6, I go to 2.6. So that would put it anywhere from 160 down to the 150, 140 range, which is not unheard of. So there's a big variance here. Like, is it going to be 200? Going to be 150? Going to be over? I think that your top is probably 200. And I'll come back and I'll play with these numbers and show you that these numbers can change widely. But let's finish the exercise here. And we're going to draw this thing. I hope I get it right. Yes, I grabbed it right. Okay, so now I'm going to put the 1 up here at the peak. And there's the 0. So the wave 4 should be coming down to the 50% point, give or take. And that's at 130. And then finally, this goes up about 1.5, 1.6. So I'm going to go oops. Let's do that there. Thank you. Come here, grab this guy. Move this corner here to there. And now say 1.6. Because typically wave 5 is your end. It's not as big, so 1.6. So now you're looking at 230 to 240. That's about as high as it can guess as far as the pattern, and then it'd be an ABC that follows down here, like over here. Now I'm going to draw this a little bit differently, see if I can try and find, because remember the one wave I drew from the bottom of the cup up to this point, and it matched pretty well. If I take this one wave and I leave it alone and go wave 2, right? And let's just say the bottom of this is not 25, but more like, say, 30. You see why this will matter in a minute. So I'm going to say 30. Then I come all the way back, take this guy all the way back here. And now, instead of 30, I'm putting it about, I put the bottom at 30. So now the 50%, zooming in. I don't even have to move this one very much. So I'll leave in the 50 to 60 range. I don't think it's going to get down that low. But this is basically saying 65. But the real dramatic changes are going to happen when I move this over to wave 2 and go up to 3.6. Or see, now I'm almost at 4. But if I say that that's a smaller line, wave 2 from point 1 to point 2 is lower, and I pull this down to 2.6. Okay? Now my peak is about 150 to 160K. That actually feels better to me about what's more likely to happen. We'll get up to here, we get up to 100, we'll trickle down, maybe to 70, and then we'll shoot up into about 140, 150 range. Now, again, taking this rule, and I'm going to flip this over to here, and I'm going to come down 50%. So now I'm going to say 150. And I set this to 65, so that's 85, so it should come down about 40. So coming down just around to 100. Okay, this puts it at 112. That's not unreasonable. And then finally, the one point. Let's see, I got to move this. Got to move this one last time to here. and then the 1.6 would bring this down to right there, which is 184, 185,000. Call it 180. So you can see the difference between, depending on how you draw it, the results change dramatically. This is where I'm gonna leave this alone. I'll come out of here. Let me drop back into just myself. So what do we learn from looking at this? We learn that the lines matter a lot, but the story kind of tells the prediction often matches the end result if you know how to draw the lines correctly. Now, so the lines are into interpretation. I said 100,000 was kind of a psychological number, and it proved out to be. That's indeed what it was. So 100,000 is going to come back. We'll come back into the 70s. We'll come back to the 60s. Again, using that rule about election week, I don't think it's going to go below 70,000. I'm going to say that's probably your limit. I would say maybe 75. So it goes from 100 down to 75. So there's a 25,000, and then it goes up 3.5 times. So now that's like, call it 80,000 on top of 75. You're about 150, 160,000. And then it'll come back down. It won't get down to 100 again. That's probably the last time it gets there. And then it'll shoot up to 175 or so. So that's one way to look at this one. And then again, there's all different kinds of trends. The other element is timing. We don't know how that timing is going to play out. We don't know if it's going to happen next week, next month, several months. I laid out in that video that I'm posting up here, like many of the reasons why I think it's going to come back down, the tax season, and a few other things that could happen between now and January 20th, if you know what I mean. And then we could get into the euphoria time again, where things are, positive things are happening, especially in the world of crypto and Bitcoin, and it shoots up, blasts through 100 for the very first time, because we haven't gotten through it yet. We got to 99, but not through it yet. Then we blast up to say 150, then it'll come back down, retest 100, and then it'll go up to like 175 or so. That's the wave up, but that's not to promise that's where it's going to be. Like 170, 175 might be your peak, and then it'll come down. Now, on the new website, we're going to I'll put out some indicators, some tracking tools. Some of them may have to be behind a paywall because we're going to have to get something for our time. But a lot of this stuff is going to be there for free. And I'll go over the new website when it's there. I'll go through a whole plan of it, what it's going to look like. And, it's really, really young, but it's coming. It's almost there. That'll be the next video. But if you like this kind of analysis and this kind of prediction tool, if you're interested in this sort of thing and understanding Elliott wave and certain patterns, especially ones that really ring true in my mind, more than happy to add that to the website as more education, because there's going to be a big education section, and make more videos there. And then we'll have a Q&A for members as well to go over particular coins, particular projects, particular charts. I can't do them all, obviously, but in the early days, maybe I can. We'll see. But stay tuned for that. It'll be announced soon. Until then, I'll see you in the next video. I read every comment. Leave any comments, suggestions, feedback. Really appreciate it. If you have another tool besides StreamYard or Restream, nothing against either tool, but they're kind of expensive. So I'm going to use OBS for me and for right now. And I'll see what I'm going to use on the website coming up pretty soon. But that's all for now. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time. Take care.